Okay, Brad, start the fucking show.
I wasn't sure if you were ready or not.
I keep saying start the show. I've literally said it 4 times.
You told me to vamp. Am I
vamp
or
start the vamp or start the show if you feel up to starting it.
All right. 3. Welcome back to Constantly Calibrating. I'm your host, Brad. With me this week, I have Josh.
Hello.
And Justin.
Hey.
And we are short a Ryan. He is feeling a bit under the weather. So we will just be trioing tonight.
He's part of many weathers.
We've been gone for a week because...
well, we've been gone for 2 weeks because we missed last week. I've been gone for a bit.
Well, yeah, we had the RTX and I had a trip to Disney, so we took the week off because nobody was really going to be back in time. And we're going to talk about that among other things, but we're going to start tonight with Doctor Who.
Something we have not talked about on this show in a very long time.
No, because I don't think any of us are really caught up with it right now.
I think Justin might be the only one who may be caught up.
I'll probably watch halfway into this first half of the season. I keep forgetting how they do things. It's weird.
It is strange. But yeah, I'm still on Capaldi's first season. I think I don't even remember where I stopped at. I don't have the new companions yet. I still have Clara.
Last one I did, it was the end of it, the Christmas special at the end of his first series, which I think I've talked about on before the podcast, which was the Nick Frost Santa Claus.
Capaldi's out, Lady Doctor's in. I'm sorry, I have not memorized her name yet.
Oh, come on. Pull it up if you can't, remember it. Come on. Jodie Whittaker, by the way.
Jodie Whittaker, that's it. She's lovely. She's from what I've seen and heard of her.
Well, have you watched Broadchurch or Attack the Block?
I have watched Attack the Block, and I don't remember her in it. All I remember is John Boyega. So
yeah, I still need to see that.
Attack the Block is a phenomenal movie. If you haven't seen it, everyone should go watch it right now. Because we're getting a ton of breakout stars in more major things from this. And Broadchurch is good, but you have to be in the right mindset to watch Broadchurch, because it is a very depressing show. At least for me, I've only gotten about 3 episodes in, but from what I've seen, it's so good. I can't. It's one that I can't chain gun. So
I get that. I've heard that from a lot of people. It's just a tougher show to crack into, as it were.
But it's wonderful. I'm excited about the possibilities. I will be disappointed if they don't do the obvious, oh look, I have boobs joke, because I mean, really, you have to do it.
They have to do some. It's still, Doctor Who's still a kid show, so they have to do some acknowledgement, but they have to figure out a good way to do it, and they can't be. Oh, I thought I'd sneeze there. They have to find some way to do it that makes sense within the brand. They can't literally do like a juggling the boobs kind of thing, but there has to be something like he transforms into Jodie Whittaker and she's standing there naked in front of her companion or something. Well, they never are naked, but I mean like she's strips or something. They realize is kind of thing, like that, something like that for the sight gag purposes.
That's new.
Like that's different. Yeah, something along the lines.
And they're gonna do it. So we have that. We also have the new showrunner, Chris Chibnall, which is previously had worked with him. He was the one behind Broadchurch, which is part of I think what led to this. Because I think he was, if I read the story right, he encouraged her to audition for the role.
Right.
So anyways, go ahead.
That has me really excited for Doctor Who. That means it could very much take a much darker tone than we're used to. If Broadchurch is any indication. But basically the internet's lost their collective shit.
Chibnall's done some really awesome episodes of Doctor Who as well.
Huh.
Let me hold on. Let me actually look this up.
I'm not familiar with what has already been done.
Give me a moment. I'm gonna look up his episodes right now. Thanks, Mark. Wow, my wife just slammed the door accidentally and knocked almost everything off the wall. I'm trying to find. Okay, so he wrote the episodes 42. He wrote the Hungry Earth / Cold Blood, which were the Silurians' first episode in modern Doctor Who. Pond Life, which, if I remember right, that was the that was the web shorts. Okay. Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, The Power of Three, an episode called, and then that's it for episodes. And then Torchwood, he wrote like 10 episodes of.
Oh, okay. Well, that's another good sign to me, because Torchwood's a little bit darker in general too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about the future of the franchise, but the sheer ridiculousness and distaste that some people have for just the idea of this, it's mind-boggling. I understand in other shows, like, you know, if it wasn't the fact that the Doctor was basically androgynous to begin with, and it's already established that they can regenerate as a Time Lord any way they choose or don't choose, it's kind of unclear if they can actually pick or not. But it's in the lore. It's just been, you know, we've been waiting for it to happen. It was just a matter of time. People were asking for it, and people were swearing they would stop, and still are. So I don't know. It just seems childish to me to make such a big deal out of it. Just run with it, see how it is. You could love it. It could be the best Doctor ever. We don't know.
I mean, that's what happened. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Justin.
I was about to say, the only complaints I can see is because they are trying some things, and this falls in line. Some things they're trying, it's just like an extra step on. If that's a complaint, I can kind of understand that, but just the fact that she's a woman, that part is just crazy.
Yeah,
and I can't explain the further steps because it would spoil it for you too.
Yeah, so what I was to say was that Doctor Who, okay, like, let's just look at it this way. If you have a problem with the show, and this is what we've talked about with gaming as well. If you have a problem with something, there are ways to show you have a problem with it. Discussion, not watching, etc., 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 all are great ways to do that. The problem is how people are handling it, literally saying, this is garbage, the show is shit, all these things, which is the same stuff that was said when Capaldi became Doctor, the same thing that's said when Matt Smith became Doctor, same thing when David Tennant became Doctor. All of this stuff has been said before. Yes, it's a lot more fucking vicious. I think the only even remotely close time it's ever come to this was with Capaldi, because all the people who fell in love with the young Doctor suddenly had an old man kind of thing. You know, I think that's the closest we ever really came to this level of nonsense. But for me, as someone who has been watching Doctor Who pretty much their entire life, I'm ecstatic to have a female Doctor, not because it's progressive, not because it's the quote-unquote right thing to do, or some feminist propaganda that some people want to pull out of their ass. I'm doing it because I'm interested in this, because in watching it again, because it's something new, it's something different, it's a change.
Exactly.
And it's like, how many fucking times can I see a fucking white guy of varying ages do these stories? Because I love Doctor Who, but they tell the same stories over and over again. Yes, it's going to be the same stories over and over again still, but even that female perspective, and think about it this way, a female perspective, we're going to have a female companion to start, because that's who the companion is now, but we're going to have a male companion at some point, because that's the dynamic they're obvious. I feel like they're obviously going to go for. So we're going to see that.
I can't even explain what's happening with the companion right now, which makes it more interesting.
I know that I visually don't like the current companion. I've seen her, and she's very unappealing to me.
I've heard she's phenomenal. I've heard she's
she could be a great actress, but like,
I've just heard she's everyone's favorite since Donna, for the people who like Donna, kind of thing. So
she's not bad.
So all I know is this news made me really want to catch up on Doctor Who for the first time. Like, actually put legitimate effort in.
You need to catch up, because I'm actually holding back on a lot of things just because.
I get you. No, I get you. And I know a couple of spoilers of varying levels, but it's like in that way, like, it's in the back of my mind. Anyways, no, Charlotte and I are going to catch up, finally. All I know is that I grew up loving Doctor Who, and I grew up loving the Master, and the Master became, a woman a while back for a time. So it's like, what's the big deal? And then my favorite comment online about this whole entire thing is, so you can accept an immortal, time-traveling alien that can regenerate into any form they choose, but you can't accept them having tits. And that's what a friend of mine, I think she stole the joke and changed it slightly, but that's what a friend of mine wrote online, and I'm like, you know what? Fair fucking point. Whether she lasts, Joe lasts for one series, whatever, or she's on there for like David Tennant levels of time, I want to watch Doctor Who for the first time, truly, since Matt Smith left.
I'm definitely excited. So, I will be catching up. Of course, we've been trying to slowly catch up with Torchwood, because we watch like 3 or 4 episodes of it and then forget about it for months, and then we go back to it, and then we have to rewatch 2 episodes. So
I've never seen an episode of Torchwood to date. The only Doctor Who never seen a single episode. The only Doctor Who spinoff I ever watched was Sarah Jane's stuff, which we only watched the one series of.
But you like Barrowman like a lot, right?
Yeah, I like Barrowman a lot, and I always had interest in Torchwood, but the problem was when it was a new show, when it was a brand new show was when we had a TiVo that fought with Cox all the time, so we couldn't record it. The TiVo years. I know
well of those bitchy ranting sessions.
God, that was the rants before we had a podcast to rant on. Imagine if we had a podcast back then, Jesus Christ.
We might actually be successful now.
Exactly, and it would just been known for me bitching about TiVo. I might have gotten a TiVo endorsement for hating them in a weird sort of way. But no, I just used to fucking bitch about that all the time. And then it just became one of those things, kind of like with a lot of stuff. I didn't see it for so long that I'm just like, eh. So we always talk about watching it. Right now, I'm introducing Chernobyl to one of my favorite modern sci-fi shows. So once we're done with that, which, by the way, if you have Netflix, go watch Dark Matter. I've only seen the first season, and we're almost done watching it with her, but my God, that might be the best fucking thing in sci-fi in a long time.
Is that the one that starts out with like 6 people on a spaceship and they don't know what the hell's going on?
Yeah, they all have amnesia.
Right. I watched the first episode of that. It was hard to watch.
First 3 episodes are not good. It's one of those shows that I made it to, when I first watched it by myself, it was just I was told to watch it. I made it to episode 3 and I'm like, why am I watching this? And I'm like, all right, I have a baby and I'm just bored and I need to just put fucking entertainment on. By the time I got to the 4th episode, suddenly I realized I was on episode 8 because I just ended up chain gunning it completely and utterly, and I was in the zone on it. It's from the creators of Stargate, and it has a lot of vibes of Battlestar meets Farscape meets Babylon 5.
Okay.
Anyways,
God, I hate that phrase though. Oh, the first ones you got to get through. It was like,
sci-fi, but that's you, Justin. You watched enough sci-fi show. Every sci-fi show, you have to get through the first 3 episodes to understand A, what the plot is, B, have some feeling for the characters, and C, figure out how technology matters. Once you get those 3 keys in place, then you're like, okay, my brain can now adjust to this universe.
There was another show like that I tried to watch recently. Dylan had pushed it on me.
The Expanse?
Yes, The Expanse. It's such a hard watch to begin with.
The Expanse, if everything I heard, what somebody described to me is if you melded Battlestar Galactica and Game of Thrones together, but you only want to slit your wrist half the time.
God.
Like it's the politics of Game of Thrones mixed in a Battlestar setting, but it's depressing as fucking hell.
People, boom. I think there's dead people in the first episode. So.
Firebite's making a comment. Is it true? Are all sci-fi shows like that? That whole feeling that make it through past 3 episodes? I think most are. The joke I've made. My favorite show of all time is Babylon 5. It's my absolute favorite show in the world. I've always said you cannot. I cannot possibly believe there's a person on this planet who likes Babylon 5 until they have finished the entire series. Like, you have to watch all 5 seasons and at least 2 of the movies, and before you can be like, I think I like that show. Because that's been my experience with almost every person I've introduced it to. They've been willing to watch it, and they've like, I'm enjoying the story, but every single one of them, we watch the final post-series movie, and they look at me, they're like, I think I want to rewatch that to see if I actually really did like it. But I think sci-fi is like that in general. At the bare minimum, you have to make it through the first 2 hours, so typically the first 2 episodes. I don't know, I felt that way about Stargate, Farscape. I feel that about almost all science fiction television. And I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. It's pretty much
Oh, you're just saying sci-fi in general, not Sci-Fi Channel.
No, what the fuck's on? I haven't. I should watch Sci-Fi Channel stuff because apparently it got good again. But just I mean science fiction television shows specifically.
I just want them to change the name back.
Yeah, they're never gonna change it back to Skiffy. They're trying to prove a point.
I don't like Sifi.
So let's do we have it? So as far as Doctor Who goes, I want to watch it. And as far as the bitching people on the internet goes, simple fact of the matter is, if you don't want to watch this Doctor, you don't have to. Nobody's making you.
You're entitled to your opinion, even if it sucks.
Well, but it's not. No, people have their look. If your opinion is the Doctor can't be a woman because it's never happened or some shit like that, or it shouldn't happen because blah 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 blah, then you're an idiot. If your opinion is you are not interested in a female Doctor,
yeah,
then that's your perspective, and you know what? Fine by you. Don't watch it. I really wasn't super into Capaldi, and I'm gonna rewatch it just because I'm obsessed with lore, so I can't not watch it. But
right,
because I've seen everything in Doctor, so I have to pretty much watch it. But at the same time, I have no real interest in him as the Doctor. I wasn't really a huge fan. I fucking hated Clara, still do. But and I pretty much chose. That was another reason I chose really not to watch a lot of Doctor Who, and I lost interest in the show. But so we all make our choices. Doctor Who's about change, so come back later.
Wait till next generation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on with our show from here.
Let's move on.
So you guys went out to Austin last weekend and went to RTX. So I missed it again. I'm sorry. I had a really, really good excuse this year.
Yeah, you actually had a legitimate reason.
Other than money, because money's not a legitimate excuse.
Well, yeah, I guess that is a good one too.
So, tell me about it. What should I hear about this year?
I have notes. I wish Ryan was here because this was Ryan's first.
I do too.
It was his first media convention experience. So
we're gonna have to cover it again next week.
We'll have to touch base on it a little bit, get some thoughts. But it was his first media convention experience, so I would love to have his feedback on stuff. At the same time, Justin and I are disclosing. But this RTX, as far as an event goes, was probably the worst one I've been to since the second one, 2012. But as a personal / company experience, it was easily the best. Without a shadow of doubt. It's this weird dichotomy of things with that. But so just a quick recap. We were 100% certain, if you go listen to Calibrating RTX 2016, I think was the name of the episode from last year. If you go watch / listen to that episode, you will hear me to say we're not going back to RTX next year. I was certain of it. I'm 90% sure I said that because we knew that Rooster Teeth was changing to Full Screen's PR team. We knew that they were not super huge fans of small media because that was made pretty readily apparent to us. And we were determined we're not going. That was how it was going to be. And then they put out the media request pass thing. And it was the same identical thing it's been for the past years, except there was a little thing at the bottom that says, do you have 1 million viewers or subscribers? I don't know. It was a million. I think it was 1 million viewers on your combined, on your channel. And like the joke we made with a bunch of our other friends in small media, it's like I don't think between every single platform, all of us combined could hit 1 million because that's just the nature of it. We were determined we weren't going, and then 2 months before we got passes. We got 3 passes.
The earliest we ever been notified that we had passes.
Yeah, so it's one of these just ridiculous things that we actually got them way earlier, and not even just that. Our buddy Blake, Super Blake, who's been on the show a bunch, he made a comment. He's like, "Hey, so there was a mix-up with my passes. They never actually got my email. Blah blah blah. Is there any chance I could join you guys for the event? All my coverage will go to you guys." And we were just like, I literally told him I would love to have you on the team for the event. It's not going to happen. They're going to tell me no. if they even respond. And I sent an email and got a response back 25 minutes later with a yes. And
Wow.
and I just sat there. I was like, okay, this is weird. We get to the event. They're no interviews, pretty much whatsoever. We had to fight to get our yearly Greg Miller interview. And it was literally Greg's doing that we got that interview.
Yes.
So we had to almost fight to get that, and then we get to the event, and things just seem odd. They're only doing press panels this year, which is a new thing, like kind of a press conference kind of thing. And there's just a vibe in that room that's just, I don't know. How would you describe it, Justin? Just
Oh, you mean the get the fuck out vibe?
yeah, so there were two press rooms, the old one and the new one. The old one was where the press panels were, and we were literally told, anytime a press panel is going on, anytime anything's going on, get the fuck out. That was our whole Friday. We were told to leave the room. We had nowhere to work. There was another press room that we tried to get into on Friday, and we're told it is only for pretty much the big people. IGN, Collider, people who have no fucking reason, honestly, to really cover the event from a lot of our perspectives. NBC, yeah. So.
Really?
Yeah, so I think it was an NBC local affiliate, obviously, but so, and Chris is saying here, by the way, in chat, it was absolutely not the worst compared to last year. I'm getting to that part, Chris. I think as an event, I'll explain why I think the event was the worst in a sec. So skipping ahead, this ended up getting resolved. We ended up, we thought the PR team was really cold to us. Turned out they were just so fucking stressed out of their goddamn minds because they were the first time running this event, and obviously things, as we later found out, were really not going well behind the scenes, potentially. So they were obviously really stressed. They weren't like trying to blacklist us or anything like that, or give us the cold shoulder. They just were overwhelmed because by Saturday they realized the mistake of making that one room IGN and big wig people only. AfterBuzz, I think, ended up talking to them, and we all got let in under the condition we were quiet when interviews are going on. So that fixed that problem. Ended up chatting with their PR people. It turns out they're wonderful fucking people. Absolutely awesome people. That Ryan may be selling candles to.
Maybe.
Because in an amazing moment that you'll see once the Greg Miller interview goes up, Ryan gave Greg Miller a candle. So him and his at the end of the interview, or had Justin give a candle for it was literally sitting on the table under a shirt, and then it was unveiled at the end, and specifically so when they're having their intimate times, they think of us because it actually has a ConCal sticker on it. You ever have someone tell you an idea for something, and you're like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." And then it's this idea keeps coming up, and you feel like this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and then eventually gets to the point they're like, but I'm gonna put a sticker on it. Like, that's the stupid, do it.
Yeah.
Because that was that fucking candle.
Most of Ryan's ideas that turn out to be genius at the end.
Yeah, it turns out Brett, he's
not
a social
gonna
media.
forget us after this year.
No, God, no. Ryan is a social media genius, by the way. For anyone, go Instagram RyDaddyF. I was resharing his stuff to the Constantly Calibrating Instagram for most of the event, but I ran into some glitch where it stopped letting me. So definitely go check out his stuff because he has some amazing fucking videos up.
That's what I wanted to ask. The morning videos, was that him scripting stuff, or was that a collaboration? What was going on there?
That's him.
Brad, literally, he ran. So there's a video where he interrupts me when I'm in the shower.
Yes.
He did that. I heard him yelling in the hotel room, and I'm standing in the shower, and I'm like, I'm about to be naked on the internet, aren't I? Like, that was the first thought that went through my head, because I had no fucking warning about that. He did that, and then he hops in and says, "That's RTX there," or whatever, and I open the shower curtain, and he's like, "Damn it, that wasn't a good take." Yeah, he did that like 4 fucking times, I think, before the final take went out, which is the one where I actually slammed my head into the wall. Yeah, that was. But no, Ryan just like every morning was just like, hold on, I have an idea. Like, we didn't get to the event sometimes because he just kept having to take shots. It was amazing though. Everything on the Instagram I think was his idea. I think only one thing I gave an idea. Idea to. I actually had a couple of ideas that we didn't end up filming, sadly. But so let's get to why I don't think this event was as good as previous years. that expo hall was sparse.
I could move.
It looked sparse from the videos that first day.
Yeah, well, okay. RTX is one thing I love about RTX is they space out their booths a lot. I've always loved that because you get a lot of through traffic. They don't like jam pack it with tables like a lot of other events, so you do get a lot of space. But the thing was, a lot of the booths were like Artist Alley, all the whole gaming area, and this is still allegedly a gaming event. I'd say 90% of the gaming booths were things that were there last year with no new content. There was no Devolver Digital there. There was no... the Twitch booth was blatantly supposed to be there. I mean, Twitch branding was everywhere, but there was just this massive empty area.
Yeah, there's no bigger parties as well, where there used to be Ubisoft would roll around and stuff like that.
So, I guess
the biggest party was 343, but all it was just a demo kiosk for, oddly enough, ODST. And what was it? Halo.
They had ODST. They had Halo Wars 2. They actually like Halo 3 there as well, and like a Master Chief Collection. Right. So like it was like a 343 history kind of is what they were doing. But yeah, like that was 343 was the biggest name booth there. Brawlhalla wasn't there. Which, you know, from what we are understanding from some behind the scenes stuff, I guess it's just never been profitable for the big people to come to RTX. So I don't know why Devolver really wasn't there. I guess because they just blew their load on that whole E3 stuff. But they're local, so you'd think that they still would have been there with at least a smaller presence. But yeah, it wasn't a gaming convention. Like there was some cool gaming stuff. I mean, some of our favorite stuff from the event was like the Web Around, which was gaming related, even though their marketing definitely, you could tell that they did not realize they were gaming related until the end of day one. But the Web Around is a green screen that you attach to your chair or to your person.
Huh.
Whichever you prefer.
You prefer.
Their PR lady followed me, or their creator followed me. I need to look into that.
Yeah, well, I have coupons, so I actually have one. I have one I'll be reviewing soon. I just haven't had a chance to set it up. But yeah, no, they were awesome, by the way. Like small mom and pop operation. Like it was literally mom, dad, and their daughter. Awesome. And it was great. They're from Michigan. They had no idea how to set up their stream. So on the first day, Blake wandered by and ended up setting up their stream for them. It was like, we just kept stopping by, and like I just started doing social media stuff at one point just to promote them because I'm like, these people are just amazing. I love the shit out of them. So anyways, which we have an interview with them coming out as well, which was apparently their first interview, and it was my first interview of the event, so I make no promises of the quality of that one. So we'll see how that comes up, but it was a cool thing. But yeah, so my issue with the event just boils down to it was the event team's first year running it. Previously, Gus Rolla had run the event, usually with I think Barbara stopped being co-director 2 events ago. They had run it. Bethany and the whole events team took over this year. They've been the ones doing the Let's Play Live stuff and all the other events. And I don't know, supposedly RTX Australia was amazing, but this just felt like it had issues. And I think it had to do with Phoenix Comic Con because there was extreme levels of security, mostly on day one. The security was obviously done by the convention center and by the city of Austin, and it was poorly done. It was a shit show for bad, and I think that was sprung on Rooster Teeth and full screen at the last minute. Mm-hmm. I get the feeling, even though it should have been sprung on them, 2 months ago when the whole incident at Phoenix Comic Con happened. I think it was sprung last minute, and I think it threw a lot of stuff into chaos. And then I don't know what happened with Twitch. I feel like that must have been a last minute thing because I talked to people a month before the event who were talking about getting drinks who work for Twitch. So I think a lot of stuff happened very last minute and threw things into chaos. So I'm not making excuses for anyone, but so that's for Chris. If you're still here, that's the reason why it was my least like of the compared to the previous year. However, for our side, it was amazing. Once we got the rhythm of what we were doing. Not being able to do one-on-one interviews gave us time to think, okay, what other content can we produce?
Yeah, the pressure was kind of off at that point.
Yeah, we didn't have to suddenly have stuff out every night. There was no pressure. There was less small media there, so we weren't competing with people to get our content out. Like, went into it like, okay, we're gonna have a Greg Miller interview and a Ray Narvaez Jr. interview guaranteed. Other people get those interviews, but we always have unique experiences with the two of them. So I frankly don't care if that goes out a week late, because we're the only people who are gonna have these interviews with these people in this way. So like all this pressure was suddenly gone. We didn't have to get stuff out at the show. And and it was like, okay, what other content can we produce? So they had an escape room, and it was like, okay, what's an Achievement Hunter escape room going to be like? Because it was built by the production team, but also primarily, I don't know if you realize it, Justin, Jack and his dad built most of that room.
I did not.
Yeah, they
did a good job.
Because they've done a lot of stuff in the past. So, whoa, that was loud. I gotta adjust my sound settings. Oh, thank you, Lady Ashlyn, for the follow. So anyways, they built all that stuff, and it was really cool how they put together. And we were like, okay, what's this gonna be like? So we talked to our friends. We were there with Blake. We talked to Chris from Casting for Two.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, go. By the way, for anyone listening to this or watching this, go listen to Chris's fucking interviews from this event. Listen to them in order, which means you start with Couch Up, Sugar Pine 7, and then Nick Scarpino. Pretty much the first two are the ones you listen to in order.
There's a story there.
Yes, do not listen to the Sugar Pine 7 while driving. I almost died. It is the single funniest thing I've ever listened to in my entire life. I don't shout out during shows, but my God, that was one of the best things I've ever listened to, and it was just beautiful. So go castingfor2.com. Anyways, shout out to friends. So we contacted him, and then we made friends with a member of Gamer Assault Weekly, Christine, and we all just said, fuck it, let's see if we could do this. Escape room does, 8 to 10 people? We were 7 people, and it was. Yep. I felt like such a dick. We got to cut the line. And on top, that had like at that point a 2.5 hour wait, and they asked us, can attendees come in with you? And I just said, I'm like, we're gonna be filming. I am fine with attendees. And they're like, no, we understand, it's okay. And it was like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have fucking food thrown at me by these people. I feel like such a dick. And then they actually were all super happy and friendly, and everyone was nice and didn't give a shit.
You got fast pass.
But no, essentially,
it's the power of that media badge.
Yeah, it was pretty cool though. So we have a video coming up of that I'm trying to put together for the escape room. I hope it's really well. The one spoiler I'm going to give is we were getting our instructions, and then one Mr. Remy Tim, came up in Jeremy in his full Remy Tim cosplay came up and started yelling at us that we weren't going to break in and steal his money. I don't know if that was part of the experience normally, but it was a weird thing, and I did not realize who the fuck was standing next to us for a solid minute. Wow. So, but let's Justin, what's some highlights of yours?
Ah, man, you covered most of them. Road to Disco Shark, that happened.
We live streamed Justin and Ryan doing the Disco Shark.
I really missed that I didn't get a chance to do that.
I hate that I didn't get to do. Oh, you didn't hear Ryan's idea. He hopped off of it and immediately said, "Josh, look up where we can buy luchador masks. I have an idea." And we found a place to buy luchador masks and full body paint, and we were going to come back the next day as luchadors and ride the shark and do another video of it, a more structured video. And then we didn't. Well, and then that night, Saturday night, Ryan got obliterated levels of drunk. So, which, by the way, again, favorite part of the event, we had time to think about things, so we filmed the pilot for our new show coming out later this year.
I've got to see this.
I will send you the raw footage of it. Again, all I can say is keep it on the DL.
Oh, I'm just super excited because of all the comments that were coming through in Slack the next day. I was like, what?
So Ryan drank a lot. Ryan's a bigger guy.
Did you give him Tito's?
No. We just we just had a discussion. How do I need to pace myself? And he's like, when do we want to leave? Because we were at a party, Daybreak Games invited us to a mixer, open bar. So we had this type of pace. And I'm like, I would like to film this about 11 to midnight, somewhere in that range. We were there at 8:30. So Ryan paced himself, and it got to the point that we got kicked out of the open bar because the event closed. And we're like, what to do now? So we went to this place called Shakespeare's, and they were doing Long Island iced tea pitchers.
Oh my God.
So after drinking for 2 straight hours, Ryan and Justin both respectively had individual pitchers of Long Island iced teas.
Yes, we did.
And when I say pitchers, just to be clear, I'm not talking about like something massive. I'm talking about that big. So for people, audio listeners, I mean, I don't know, 8-inch tall pitcher,
Yeah, but
give or take.
Austin's... Okay, question about the Long Island. Was it
Yes.
pre-mix or was it free pour?
Free pour.
Free pour.
Yep. So we ended up recording this show that required Ryan to be intoxicated at about, what would you say we started that officially? About somewhere between 12:30 and 1, Justin?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
So it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Brad, you've lived with Ryan. You've seen Ryan drunk. You know he kind of bellows when he gets intoxicated because he has a shoutier voice, I guess you could say.
I think he probably got further there than I've seen him, it sounds like.
So he was shouting in this hotel room at 1 o'clock in the morning, pretty much. It was shaking the fucking walls at one point because he was just bellowing, just getting into this whole thing we were recording. And Chris is doing one camera. I'm doing another free cam. Justin's sitting off to the side preparing, like, that he deciding if he was going to film stuff as well. And Ryan's just bellowing it. All that's going through, we're cracking up, dying, laughing. And all I can think to myself is, we're going to get thrown out of this fucking hotel. Nope, no noise complaints.
Thank one.
So either nobody was in the rooms next to us, because if they were, there's no way they did not hear what was going on.
Or they're doing something far worse.
So my only hope is either nobody was in those rooms, or it was, Saturday night in Austin, and they were also all obliterated on 6th Street.
That may be accurate.
So it was just a crazy thing. But my absolute 2 event highlights have to be, I'm in the airport, and I get a message from Ryan on Slack. He's on his layover in Houston. He's like, so someone just ran up to me and said, hey, are you Ryan from Constantly Calibrating? And it was like, sorry. And he was like, sorry, what? And, so Ryan got recognized and asked the person, where do you know our stuff? And he's like, just some videos on YouTube. But it was like, okay. Then I'm wandering around the event, and somebody comes up to me and says, hey, you're Josh from Constantly Calibrating, right? Oh, no. She first says, hey, can I get a picture with you? And I thought she wanted a picture of my Mass Effect backpack. So that was the first thing. And I said, sure. And then I started to take the backpack off because I was a flipper and take a picture. She's like, no, you're Josh from Constantly Calibrating, right? Like, I have a picture. And I'm like, sorry, what now? And I still refuse to believe that wasn't like a scripted thing Blake did. My brain can't accept what happened.
Those Blake pranks.
And I'm fine. Well, because he knew the person. She was a guardian, and he knew her name, like, right offhand. But Blake was also a guardian and, involved with the Rooster Teeth community. So, but it was like one of those things I'm like, I don't trust this situation.
But I will accept it.
So, yeah.
It's better than nothing.
Better than nothing. So it was really cool. Gave her a free shirt and some stickers, and posted the picture online as well. It was just a really fucking cool moment for me, for obvious reasons. But that's the reason why this event was the best to me ever, because between some conversations I had with Rooster Teeth personalities off record, just like chatting with them, conversations I had with Full Screen's PR, with a bunch of different people, with our friends like Chris, with like Blake, like his girlfriend Taylor, Gamer Assault Weekly, a lot of different people we know and stuff. This event to me spoke strongly of one fundamental thing, and that was feeling accepted. I've done RTX. This is my 5th RTX. I've been going there for 6 years, and I actually felt like accepted with people and respected, and like people care my opinion. I mean, the ongoing joke continuously was people would say, how are you getting these like good quality interviews? How are you getting these awesome quality people? Nobody watches your content. Like, 'cause that is the joke of Constantly Calibrating.
Yeah.
Is we get all these really fucking amazing opportunities, but we don't have a lot of views. And it's quite simple. Blake and I had a conversation about this. It's because we're respectful people who produce respectful professional people. We may do have a lot of Go ahead,
we're
Justin.
professional unprofessionals.
What I like to look at it is we made a mistake for about a year and a half of the show where we thought we were more professional than we were. We tried to run this podcast very, by the books, very straight-laced. All of our content was very rigid, very overly professional. And then we came to the realization of we're not professional. We have professional candor, but we're not professional people. So the quality of our content is professional. We have nice quality microphones. We have nice quality mixers. We have nice quality cameras. The way we talk to people, the way we set up interviews, the way we address situations. We're professional in all of our stuff we do. But you turn on a camera and I start talking to Ray Narvaez Jr. about how much I want to cuddle him and who's going to be the big spoon. And, we come up with really stupid fucking ideas for an interview with Greg Miller, or I don't know. I made a bunch of jokes about helicoptering my dick or something for a video. I can't remember what the reasoning behind that was. I was pretty drunk at that point. But we do in our content, we're stupid idiots, but in our actual professional stuff, we're professional. So Chris here, by the way, I've been friends with Chris for a long time now, but never really worked with him until this event. He and I see eye to eye in the same way that we're both complete and utter fucking morons with how we it's. I mean that with a loving thing, but all of our jokes, our sense of humor are just dumb. But it came to this realization of it in a brilliant way. My God, the press panels were amazing with the questions he was asking, because they were just brilliant. Well, teenyweenies.com. Anyone who masterminds that. But that was the same thing for me, and it actually gave me a realization of who I truly am in these situations, that I like being that person. So
we still need to nail down what the collaboration between Double Dick Games and teenyweenies.com is going to be.
We do really need to figure that out. I mean, it's really ultimately just going to be my idea for this game I've been working on the script for that is going to just have nothing logically to do with why this is the name of the companies.
No.
But so any questions you have, Brad? Because I have a lot of stuff to discuss, but most of this is stuff I actually don't want to discuss until we have a family meeting.
Yes, Justin, where's my filthy casual shirt?
It's sitting right beside my TV, so whenever you want to come get that.
I don't know if GPS works where you are. I might get lost.
It does.
So yeah, as far as content we have coming up, it's going to start tomorrow, Tuesday, for people watching the live show. We're going to start having our content coming up. We have some interviews, as I mentioned, with Greg Miller, Ray Narvaez Jr., Stu Grubbs of Lightstream, the Web Around. We have an interview with one of the creators of Shit on Your Friends.
I want to play that game.
It's pretty cool, actually. I'm trying to think. This is actually the first year where I legitimately think I can name every interview offhand. I think we have an interview with Steve Jackson Games, and there's one an Adult Swim related interview for the show, Apollo Gauntlet, and I think there's one more that I'm spacing on right now. But
did you guys talk to Ultimate Drinking Games?
No, we didn't end up talking to them. Christine ended up buying the game to go play drinking games with us on Sunday night, and then we abandoned her and Vanessa to go see Spider-Man. Which was not the plan. It was literally a case of Joey Noel, the community manager for Kind of Funny, which congratulations to her, officially the full-time community manager. They were officially able to hire her on full-time. They brought her on. She invited us out to what we thought was a Kind of Funny best friends thing to see Spider-Man at Alamo, and Blake was pretty insistent that we all go, so we ended up going buy tickets. I'd never been to an Alamo Drafthouse. Ryan had never been to one. We ended up going and then walked into the theater, and we never saw Joey the whole night. What we did see was the entirety of Funhouse. Jack Patillo and his wife, Bernie Burns and Ashley, I believe, were both there as well, from what we heard. Never actually saw them. Pretty much it turned out it was the last showing on Sunday night, the night when Rooster Teeth personalities no fans are going to be here. We're going to go. We didn't, by the way, bother anyone. It just was very interesting to see a movie in the Alamo Drafthouse, which I've heard Rooster Teeth talk about for years with the people from Rooster Teeth. It was kind of this surreal thing. By the way, Alamo Drafthouse is the single best movie experience ever, and I don't think I can go to the movies ever again if it's not there. It was so good. I obviously can, but it was such a good experience. But that's enough about RTX stuff, unless anyone in chat or you, Brad, have any other like final questions. We're going to talk more with Ryan about it probably next week, I guess.
Yep. No, I'm looking forward, like, probably more this year than in the past to seeing what content we have.
It's going to be such a different thing. It's going to be such a different experience. We're not going to have a lot, but I'm really proud of, like, a good 80% of it.
Like based on the social media, I really hate that I missed it more this year than ever before.
Well, I'm going to put it this way. Last year I was worried I would not be able to go back to RTX. I'm not even slightly worried this year because due to a conversation I had with someone on the PR team, they asked, "Hey, are you going to RTX London?" And I'm like, "No, media passes and flying out there and then paying for tickets." And they made a comment like, "We can probably get you media passes." It wasn't a definitive thing. So I was like, God, if you can give me media passes for RTX London, I'm not worried about going to Austin. For reference, I'm not going to RTX London. It's the week
yet.
It's this year. It's the week before TwitchCon. I can't spring that kind of money and that kind of timing. But I'm now actually confident in my ability to go next year. So no, we're gonna do RTX big next year is my plan. I have ideas for some. All of my stupid ideas I really wish we filmed that I just couldn't figure out, I want to do next year. For instance, just for a sample idea, just because I don't know if we'll do next year, we have, Justin has interviewed Nick Dolce of Blue Mammoth Games every year, makers of Brawlhalla, and they weren't there this year. I just had this idea in my head that if Justin was willing to commit to, of just have him like asking people, where's the Brawlhalla booth and stuff like that, and just looking around, and it slowly just fades to black and white, and the music just gets really sad as he realizes they're not there, and we show flashbacks to the previous interviews, and it's just Justin standing in the middle of that empty area at the expo hall, and then across the screen it says in just fancy script, "Not without my Dolce," and then just very sad music, and it fades out. Again, stupid fucking ideas. I want to film those next year.
We might need to go a couple days earlier, stay a couple days late.
Well, going out Thursday morning was getting there Thursday. I guess I got there Thursday early evening. But getting there Thursday early evening versus Thursday like late at night kind of thing, as I usually do. Smartest decision I've ever done. If I can do it, I want to do Wednesday to Tuesday next year.
All right.
I don't know if I could possibly do it. But Brad, while we were doing that, you were prepping to take your kids to their first Disney World trip, to their first Disney experience, as it were.
Indeed. I do have video of the reveal, and I don't think we completely really set expectations for what Disney is, because their response at first was underwhelming, and then it was like as we got in the car after recording my video, they suddenly, it started to dawn on them as we talked more and more about it, like what there actually is there.
So it's like, so it's kind of one of this, yeah. So if you don't set up this expectations, like, have your kids seen a lot of, have they seen a lot of, what is it called, commercials for the event?
No, I mean, because we don't have cable anymore, and we tried to be really secretive about it leading up to it. So like, we would only look at stuff at night, and like I would watch the Diz or the Diz Unplugged on YouTube at night when I was going to bed to get my information. So they didn't really have a concept going into it. So I guess my first takeaway is, if you want to surprise your kids, make sure they really understand how cool it is.
You gotta sell them on that shit for like a good few months before you actually take them, kind of thing. You gotta set up the expectations.
Yeah, and I didn't really have time to do that. I mean, I would drop little things here and there, and like, I would warn them, you can't wander off if you were ever to go somewhere like Disney World. It's like general parenting stuff, just to, because Sarah doesn't listen as much as she should because she's a younger one. But, I used that as kind of hint dropping, but I think they were just too oblivious for them to ever get it. But they had a blast. And I can't say I would do anything different. I actually, no, I would plan more. as a person who had not been in 25 years, I was truly unprepared for how much you really need to plan, and not strict planning, but loose planning. Like, you need to do your park hopper stuff as soon as you can, or not your park hopper, your
Fast passes.
your fast passes, as soon as you're available. Like 6 weeks out, whatever the timing is, do it then. Plan those first 3 rides of the day, whatever they are. Plan your park schedule, at least for the morning every day, or else you're not going to get to do a lot of the stuff you want to do. We sadly had finally convinced Ashlyn roller coasters are cool. She likes them now. And the last night we were in Tomorrowland, and we walked up to Space Mountain at 9:58, and the guy's like, "Sorry, Space Mountain's closed for the night."
Oh, I hate when that. I fucking hate when that shit happens.
And it was kind of devastating, to me, because like that's something I still haven't done. I didn't really ride any of the big stuff. I went to a lot of shows and a lot of the little push you through cart rides and stuff made for the younger audience. Which it's not a bad experience. It's just, as an adult, it's not necessarily my Disney that I want to see. But that's not really why I was there. And everything's amazing, really. Like I expected okay food and, average service. And that's something, like, everybody says, "Oh, we have the best service in the world." No, Disney means it. Like, you drive up, and the first thing I heard was "Welcome home," and I was like, "Huh?
Mm-hmm.
What? Welcome home?" And it was the most friendly, nice, helpful security guard at a gate I'd ever seen in my life, and I was just awestruck for the next 20 minutes. And we get to the desk to check in, and that was an amazing experience too. It just, like, everyone that works as a cast member there is truly helpful and fun, and they know their role. And I mean that not as in they know their place, they know their role, because everyone there has a role to play. It doesn't matter who they are, and you don't truly understand that until you see it firsthand. I guess as an adult, or at least a teen.
It's mind-blowing, and I don't know if even the teenagers truly respect that experience. I'm a person who's fortunate. I grew up going to Disney World most of my childhood, into my, I guess, really, like, maybe my preteens, and then I went to Disneyland starting when I met my wife, or very early on in our relationship, so I don't know, 19, 20 years old, and going regularly. So, but growing up there, like, yeah, it was the happiest place on earth. It was magical. But I started hating Disney, and I didn't go in my teens because it's like, well, fuck this. This isn't, a happy place. It's a horrible thing, and yada, yada, all the stuff teenagers experience. But then as an adult, like, over the first, 4 years of going, I started looking around. I'm like, God, this place is, like, amazing how they run it. And you start really, like, noticing the intricacies, how that clockwork mechanism essentially is working.
There's no litter.
Yeah, like, there's no litter, and if there is litter, like, one of my favorite things, Charnel and I love, again, most of my experiences are Disneyland. I only really been to Disney World in my adult life, this past Thanksgiving. It's been a long time since I was there, and it's hard for me to gauge against it, but like Disneyland, we have like 3 or 4 of our favorite benches. You'll sit on them, particularly the best ones are like in the Main Street area, because there's a lot of restaurants. You'll sit there and be like, oh, look, there's a piece. Nope, there it's gone. And like you'll notice pieces of the litter hit the ground, but somehow they hit the ground and they're gone. But you never actually fucking see a human being come by and clean it up. It's literally like magic, and it's like, but it's the weirdest things you start respecting and becoming enthralled by. But doubling back, it's the one thing I said when you were asking for advice on the trip. I said to you, I gave you all these lists of different things, try to plan ahead. If you can, fast passes, plan your meals. There's a couple of restaurants that are hard to get reservations for. Look into that if you want to treat the kids and everything. Like, there's all these things you should look into. And then the final piece of advice I gave to you was, and accept the fact that you're not going to get to do almost 90% of what you want to do, and everything's going to go wrong, because that's Disney. Look, I've been going for years. Everything goes wrong.
Yeah,
it's perfect chaos.
Like, the worst thing we had to deal with was we slept in. Like, 9-10 o'clock, and the parks are open at 9, and it takes at least 30 minutes to get over there, depending on how you try to go. We eventually decided that getting there with our own transportation is faster most days, but getting back with our own transportation, if you don't leave the parks in time, is a nightmare. Because the trams and the monorails and stuff, after closing, are just god-awful. It probably took us an hour to get from Main Street back to our parking lot. Because on our last night, we got confused. We thought it was Extra Magic Hours night, which is why we're in Tomorrowland so late. And we thought they were going to be up until midnight. No, they closed at 10. So we're in Tomorrowland, and there's people walking out the gate. We were fucked.
No, if you're that far back at closing, we left most nights for Disney World. We left the Magic Kingdom pretty much as the start of the fireworks, because two reasons. One, trying to learn from experience that if you leave during the fireworks, most people are gawking at them, so you can actually kind of skate around. The other thing is my kid has such severe sensitivity to sound. He ended up just having he didn't cry. He just shut down. You know, like he was just before his second birthday. He just completely turned off. Like there was nobody home because he couldn't handle it. So we left, and even leaving then, even being able to get from damn near Tomorrowland to the front gate pretty quickly because nobody was there, it was 90 minutes before we were leaving that parking lot. And the park didn't even close for like 45 minutes after we tried to leave.
Yeah.
It's the cattle experience.
Like you learn from your first adult experience there. You learn a lot. Little thing that I didn't learn. I had read about somewhere, but I didn't use it until the second time we were there. You can cover all the Main Street inside the shops. You can walk straight through from one to the other. Which in fucking July you want to do. Oh my god, the heat.
That was
I'm never going back in July. I'm never ever doing that again.
I can't imagine doing Disney World in July, but like Charnel and I have a rule with Disneyland. We will only go to Disneyland. The latest we will go to Disneyland is the first week of May, and the earliest we'll go to Disneyland is her birthday, which she's going for her birthday without me. But that's the whole thing, and even that's even actually pretty early. But that's for California. For Florida, God, I wouldn't go probably after the second week of April, and I probably wouldn't go earlier than mid-October, just because direct heat.
Well, and not only was it just the pure heat, we had like the storm season every afternoon, and you put on one of those damn ponchos in the middle of that heat, it doesn't breathe.
Oh no.
So you're sweating almost as much water as you would be getting hit by if you were just walking without the poncho. It's just, but no, I really enjoyed myself despite all the like little negative things. It wasn't a bad experience. It's a learning experience.
Without question.
My biggest question is why the fuck does Disney still sell antenna toppers? And so damn many of them. Nobody has antennas on their fucking car anymore. What is the deal here?
I have been asking that for years. I just think it's like a collectible. It's a knick-knack thing you put on your desk. And I think it's really just because there's still a market for them. It's like, just like there's pin traders, throughout Disney.
Oh my god.
Let's not get started on pin trading.
So many.
Because of that whole experience, I just think that's just one of the things, the pin trading, the hat trading. I think it's just the antenna toppers. I think are just still a big market item that the people have just been collecting for 60 years.
Maybe.
So they must make enough money off of it.
So
Disney always makes some weird decisions, like the fact that there was no Kingdom Hearts merchandise in any Disney parks until 2 years ago.
I didn't see any.
It's still pretty few and far between, but about 2 years ago, there was a Sora in a Organization 13 robe pin. And it was just like, it was in the clearance thing, even though according to the date, it was released a month earlier. Kind of thing. And then I started seeing last year's trip. For our last year anniversary trip, I started seeing, what am I looking for here? Like a haphazard t-shirt, or sometimes you like look at something, you're like, I think that's my fandom, like I think that's related. It's like in this case, I think that's a Kingdom Hearts thing, I'm not sure. Like Mickey's outfit and that kind of, I mean, that kind of stuff. Where it's like, I think it relates. It's still pretty few and far between. Though with Kingdom Hearts 3 ramping up, to a theoretical
I think they still
release
have
date.
some licensing issues with Square.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what it all boils down to.
Well, definitely.
They really need to get that under control, especially with 3 ramping up and all the new park stuff going on. Funny thing, you get back from Disney, and then literally the next day, D23 Expo starts. So the high that I was on kind of actually got to ramp a little bit down.
Mm-hmm. You didn't quite get that
the initial
that sudden drop.
It's gone.
Yeah,
it's gone. So that was nice. But I don't know if I would want to be a D23 either, because that's just as hot in Anaheim right now.
Yeah, my buddy Brent and his wife Alyssa went to D23, and overall had a pretty lovely time.
Which there was a lot of announcements there.
I think we should cover that next week, just because we have been doing this for an hour now.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm excited about. A lot of stuff we knew about, but
the news about Star Wars is pretty cool. The main reason I don't want to talk about it right now is because I had a really rough weekend. And I have not, you and I both, at the end. So, I feel like I didn't really do enough research to discuss Star Wars Land, and I actually not watched anything out of Kingdom Hearts. I know what was discussed, but I've not actually, seen the video that was put out. So I don't want to really discuss any of those things until I get a chance to actually sit down and look. So, we could talk some D23 stuff with next week's topics.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of movie stuff.
A lot of movie stuff. I would say, do you have any additional thoughts you have on the Disney park experience before outro time?
Really, there's not a lot. We stayed in the tree houses, which I enjoyed the seclusion. There's probably I think there's at most I think there's 60 tree houses there total. They need a little more parking, which only was kind of an issue. But I like the seclusion. It was nice. I was at Disney, but I was in my own house with my own people. It's like an apartment, really, but it's nicer.
I'm not familiar with those, but
they're an extension of Saratoga Springs Resort now. But they were there before it. They used to be. They've always been the tree houses. They've been there for years and years and years. But they got remodeled in 07 or 09, I think.
Okay.
So you got a master bedroom, an extra bedroom, and a kid's bedroom, and you've got a pull-out couch and a pull-out chair, most of which was utilized.
Despite getting married at Disneyland and going to Disneyland numerous times, being a huge Disney fanatic, I know next to nothing about Disney World, except for the brief period where Charnel and I were researching, trying to get an investor to help us buy a villa by Disney World.
Wow.
And then we were like, right, we're not actually rich. Why were we researching this for 4 fucking hours?
The Vacation Club, I think Laura's dad and mom went over there to the Vacation Club experience.
We almost signed up for it a few years back, right before getting married.
They're not pushy.
No, they're actually they're pretty cool. For a timeshare, they're actually pretty chill.
They don't push it on you. You get your $100. They got $100 gift card for Disney parks and everything, and we all got an extra 3 fast passes that day, which was nice because it was our last day. It is pricey though.
Oh no, it's ridiculously pricey because the good level, you have to go 2 levels up in the program to actually really hit that level, that sweet spot. But for us, we didn't have kids yet, a kid yet. I proposed during that trip, so we weren't even married yet. But the nice experience was we were supposed to for sitting through. It's funny, we actually intentionally went. We weren't solicited by someone. I actually just wanted to look in the Vacation Club. So when they found that out, they took their promotion they were doing already, which was, I want to say it was a $50 dining thing, and turned into $100 dining credit. And then they found out that I had just proposed, and they gave us what's called a white pass. And it's the only time I've ever gotten one of these. A white pass at Disneyland is a fast pass that is good unlimited for every ride in the entire park.
Yeah, we had
even rides without fast passes.
We had 4 things that were blacked out. We couldn't use the extras on like Peter Pan, which like that's I don't know what Peter Pan is. It's supposedly really popular. It has long wait times. But
Peter Pan is a ride I did not go on for the first time until like 5 years ago. I had never been on it because I thought, well, it's just another Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, another one of those kiddie rides. Like the next time you go to Disney, it is the only of that style ride that I will say is worth a 90-minute wait because it is a really fucking awesome ride. Not great with a toddler who's scared of enclosed spaces. That was a bad experience last time I was on it, but in general, it's a good...
So, funny thing, the older kid was terrified of Haunted Mansion. The younger kid loved it.
Sounds about right. Well, your older kid is old enough to be afraid of things, almost.
I'm just sitting there looking around like, it's kind of dark in here. They need some more lighting so I can actually see what I'm supposed to be scared of. The problem I mentioned that like the flaw of you not having been since you were really little and probably too little to remember. Haunted Mansion, I feel, is a ride you need to have gone on the old version to appreciate the new version. Though the old version, I'll still say, is better. I know they've changed a lot over the years.
Oh yeah, but I'm trying to think if there any other Disney questions I want to ask you about your trip, but nothing's standing out. And again, we are really beyond overtime. Particularly,
I love magic bands. Oh my god, I love magic bands.
I never got to experience those. They're not magic bands are coming to Disneyland with the opening of Star Wars Land.
Really, they don't have them out there yet?
No. Well, they have them, but they're reduced use. You don't really have like a lot of use. I think they finally are. I think the actual proper use of them. But like Fast Passes at Disney World is you book things online ahead of time. Fast Passes at Disneyland, you still can get them on site. They're not getting rid of that until 2019, and people are fucking pissed still.
It's so cool, man, because you just use your app, you fast pass it, you run up, you go bing. It's also your door key, it's your ticket. It's amazing. It's you can tie a debit card to it and pay for your food or your purchases.
That aspect I'm excited for. It's just the fast pass stuff because Charnel in my system. And this is the last thing I'll say on Disney stuff because we really should tidy up. Right. Charnel and I. Okay, we've been going long enough that when we started going to Disneyland, you were allowed 5 simultaneous fast passes at any given time. There was you were like 5 simultaneous. There was because nowadays. At least for Disneyland, you can not get another fast pass until either your current fast pass time comes up or 2 hours, whichever comes first, is how it works. You can only have one at a time. But in the olden days, she would get on Matterhorn, and when Matterhorn had a 45-minute wait, which Matterhorn's not at Disney World, but she would get on that 45-minute wait, and then I would run around the entirety of Disneyland. I would circumvent the entire park, getting 5 fast passes of whatever our agreed upon things. I'd hit Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, Thunder Mountain, actually usually need a fast pass, Indiana Jones, and usually one other thing. And I would do that, and then I would then cut through the handicap line to catch up to her and literally hop in the ride with her as she was getting on. And that would be something we would do 6 times a day because we are psychopaths.
The way it was for us is you got 3. Times was an hour check-in, and that time could never overlap, and you didn't get more until you used those 3.
Yep. That's how the Disney World ones. We actually didn't get to really use fast passes because they were sold out completely and utterly. Though on the plus side for our Disney World trip over Thanksgiving, and I say it's loosely plus side, my mother-in-law broke her foot like 3 days before the trip, so we had handicap privileges, so we would use that to our benefit.
That's the other thing I noticed.
Justin, if you need to go to sleep, like you look like you are falling asleep.
Yeah, and I got nothing on Disney.
I've never seen so many wheelchairs in my life.
Oh yeah.
Nor have I heard so many different dialects of Spanish in like a week. There was a ton of people there from like all these different Spanish speaking countries. Like every day, I don't know what's going on. There was these all girl groups from Spanish countries that wore the same shirts, and there was like multiples of them. I don't understand what it was. It's like if you had a giant gymnastics team of 75 girls, and you took them to Disney World, and but there was tons of them everywhere you went, and none of them spoke English. And I don't have a problem with that. It was just I'm trying to figure out what was going on.
Looking it up right now. July Disney World. I don't know specifically Spanish, but it was probably choir stuff. That's usually a popular time for choir trips to Disney, at least for Disney World kind of thing. But you and I are going to touch on Disneyland and Disney World more times in the future. We have more to discuss on that.
I think we're going to be bringing it up a lot more in the future. We might even be going back sooner than we expected.
Nice. That's pretty awesome. So we should definitely discuss that more. So let's wrap things up. Though before we do, I didn't want to interrupt you while you were talking about your topic, but we got a follow from Lauren Brooke in chat, which Lauren Brooke is the person who found me at RTX and recognized me. So thank you for that if you're still in the chat. Sorry I didn't get to vocally thank you again. I just didn't want to interrupt Brad. And we usually don't do a lot of alert stuff during the podcast. I just get excitable sometimes. I think we're at 290 now. So 10 more and we're going to do a giveaway, which I still need to announce that we're doing that. Anyways, what was I going to say? Yeah, I guess, Brad, you ready to do some outro-y stuff?
Yeah, I mean, Justin, do you have anything else you want to touch on before you fall asleep?
No, I'm good.
All right.
I'm really upset with this, by the way. I wore the wrong shirt. It ends up working out because we didn't do one of the topics, but we were going to discuss Dream Daddy. And at the top of the show, I'm just too tired this weekend to really discuss that. We were going to discuss that, and then we're also discuss Disney. So I was going to wear, for the first time on the podcast, my Gay Days shirt from Disneyland because it just seems so fucking appropriate, but I forgot to do it. Instead, I'm wearing a shirt that says Muffy's Dive Shop. So
close enough.
Close enough.
Sounds like a Disney ride.
Sounds
like it belongs in Muppet Land.
Yeah, sure. That's definitely what that shirt implies. Anyways, Twitch.
I think there's some Muppet called Muffy. I think probably. There is.
But Twitch.tv/ConstantCalibrating is where you're watching this, guys. Please follow. We're going to be doing more streaming content. I'll throw you the proper outro in a second, Brad. I'm probably not going to be streaming Saturday and Sunday morning again this coming weekend, purely because Charnel's going up to doing a choir trip up to a cabin, and I'm going to have a kid, and I just have no idea if I'll be able to do it. If I stream this weekend, it's going to be random. Otherwise, Mental Health Breakdown this Friday. I believe Thaddeus is joining me on the show. That's 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, here, twitch.tv/constantcalibrating. Topic's going to be just generalized anxiety and depression, I think. And we'll see where that goes. Brad, if you want to look at the bottom bar, so you can shout out.
I would never look at the bottom bar to get us out of here. Thank you for joining us. As he said, every week, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, twitch.tv/constantcalibrating. We are on Facebook. Just look us up, Constant Calibrating. We are on the Twitters at ConCalPod. You can reach any of us individually on Twitter. I am at OGZenos. Josh is at Bear Punch. And Justin is at The Aging Gamer. And of course, we have our Instagram as well. At Constantly...
Instagram is Constantly Calibrating.
Constantly Calibrating. I take a week off, really. That's all I do. And of course, our favorite, youtube.com/ConCalPod.
YouTube.com/ConCalPod because it's actually something that's proper.
Yeah, it's something that's right in all of our social media. And just thank you all. We have fun doing this. Please bring your friends. Bring somebody who's not your friend. Bring your enemies. Somebody who may or may not love us. We want feedback. We want followers. Not because, we want that for selfish reasons. We just want to interact. We enjoy you guys. That's why we keep doing what we do. So, thank you all. Until next week. I miss you, Ryan. I hope you feel better. We bid you all good sign off.